Alright, so there's one reason the Seahawks are going to beat the Rams on Sunday. Nobody's talking about it. Number one reason is because...
Hey, I'm Gary Payton at the Seattle Supersonics.
Jay Peter with the Seattle Mariners and Jermaine Kearse.
Cliff Averell.
Dave Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
What's up, guys? This is NorbCam coming at you Saturday night before the big game tomorrow. Seahawks versus Rams in Los Angeles. And before I get into breaking down this game, I want to just look real quick back at the Seahawks-Colts game last Sunday that we won. Looks like a blowout from the final score, 46-18. Too much might be read into that score because it looked like, we beat them by almost 30 points. So it looks like we just had this onslaught. But you got to remember, we were losing in that game in the first half. And we got very fortunate to turn that thing around. We got some defensive scores, a sack fumble, recovery for a touchdown, pick six earlier in the game. And we did get some pretty big offensive plays. J.D. McKissick had a couple of scores, a run and an amazing catch in the end zone for touchdowns. Things just really got rolling in that second half. But remember how it went. And I guess the reason I bring that up is because oftentimes we get too down on the Seahawks when things don't go our way. And you got to not get too high on the Seahawks when they get a win like this. You just can't get too high, can't get too low. Get your expectations sort of evened out. Because a lot of people, it's been a weird season so far. Between all the anthem protests, stuff going around in the world, it's just been a really strange year. A lot of bad news going on in the world. But I don't like to talk too much about that stuff. I don't like to get too political on things. So I really just like to focus on football and, and the game and the entertainment side, which that is. So, but going to the Seahawks side, this win over the Colts, while it was great, it's also just one of those things where people have just felt like the Seahawks have been just not, not a good team, not playing Seahawks football. But I think people have forgotten over the years, recent years, even the year we went to the Super Bowl, that there have been a lot of games that we were either behind in. I take, for example, in the Super Bowl year, the year I started doing my first NorbCam video against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We were playing against a winless Bucs team who went up on us 20-0 at the half, and everybody was wondering what the heck was wrong with us. We came back and in overtime and won that game. The Texans game that year, we were down 3 scores at the half. We ended up coming back to that in that one and getting the win in overtime. We beat the Rams that year barely to get by and secure a win in a game that was very ugly. And so my point being in bringing this up is that I think people have gotten so used to and spoiled by the Seahawks being in the playoffs that they expect us to dominate every game. And this has been, we've complained, moaned, and criticized the team for this very thing we're going through now, probably at some point in every single season that we've had since even before we had our Super Bowl run. Even in the Super Bowl, where we won 43-8, we had a slow start in that game, despite the fact that we had such a dominating start to it. We were only 8-0 after getting a safety. We couldn't put the ball in the end zone for 2 possessions, and we only got 2 field goals out of it. So it was only 8-0 in the early part of that game, and then all of a sudden things just kind of blew up. So I guess you got to just remember that's kind of the way this team is built. We're not a fast starting team, and so it's pretty typical that things go that way. We're not a kind of team that just jumps out on top and just blows people away. So, that being said, going into this Sunday, what do we need to do to get this win? It's going to be a tough one. I'm not going to lie to you. The Rams are a different team this year. They're actually, they're first place currently in the NFC West, and this game is really first place on the line in the division because whoever wins this game basically secures first place. If we beat them, we would have the same record, but because we would have beaten them head-to-head, we would actually inch them in first place and take control. If we don't win this game, then the Rams get a significant lead in the NFC West. So this is a really important game for us for many reasons besides just kind of getting things right for us. So what's it going to take? Well, the Rams are a very different team in that right now they are the #1 scoring team in the league. They got Jared Goff, who was the #1 draft pick last year, who didn't have a very good year last year, is playing lights out. He's got like 112 passer rating, very good touchdown to interception ratio, and they are, like I said, the #1 scoring offense. So they are putting points up on the board. At the same time, defensively, they've always been a tough team to go against. They've always had our number playing us tough, but they've also given up a lot of points this year. So it's kind of just a different vibe, but they're definitely playing good football, and it's going to be a challenge, especially considering that we have our own challenges this week, particularly on the injury front. So we've got, on the defensive side of the ball, Cliff Averell battling that weird neck stinger that he got when he was trying to tackle Jacoby Brissett on a scramble play where he broke the pocket and ran to the right. Cliff Averell tried to chase him down, tried to do an ankle tackle. His foot came up, hit him kind of on his face mask as he was landing, jolted his neck back and in an awkward way. And since then, he's had this numbness and tingling in his hands. And they don't know when he's going to be back, if he's going to be back. This could be one of those serious neck injuries that really came into play that didn't look like it was that bad. But you could tell by his reaction that he was trying to shake out his hands and get feeling back in his hands. It just wasn't happening. So big concern there, what this means long term for Cliff Averell. Hopefully he does get everything back to normal and comes back, but that needs to be something we'll have to watch as we move forward. But for now, he's not back, and it's going to be a while. So Cliff Averell out. Quentin Jefferson, who they brought in, re-signed actually after losing Cliff Averell this week, broke his hand in practice, so now he's out. So then we brought up Brandon Jackson from the practice squad, so he's going to fill in defensive end, just give us some kind of depth. Obviously, Frank Clark will be playing kind of the full-time starting role, which normally he's kind of a guy that rotates in just to keep those guys fresh. So those are some challenges we have right there up front, along with Jeremy Lane, cornerback. He got a groin injury last week. He's doubtful at this point for the game. I guess he could technically play, but right now he's doubtful. So our defense is definitely going to be one of those situations where the next man up, we're going to have those fresh blood in there is going to have to step up and make things happen. Like Coleman did in the place of Jeremy Lane, having to basically, Shaquille Griffin took his place, and Coleman came in and did a great job, got the pick 6. So it's good to see the new guys doing some things, and they need to do it again this week. That's the defensive side. And on the offensive side of the ball, injury-wise, Chris Carson, who has been having a great season as our main running back, had that nasty leg injury. I don't know if it's an ankle/leg injury, kind of a combination of both. It was nasty, just the way the guy landed on his leg, kind of bent it the wrong way, and then his body, guys pushed him back and folded him back this way. It was pretty nasty. But I think there is still a chance that he might come back. Injured reserve with a designation to return, I guess, if he can, near the end of the season, close to playoff time. So keep our fingers crossed that he can come back. CJ Procise got dealing with an ankle thing, and he's also doubtful. So most likely the guys who got to pick it up this week is going to be Thomas Rawls, Eddie Lacy, and J.D. McKissick, who I talked about earlier, who got the big touchdown run and the catch. Those 3 guys are going to be the ones who have to step up and make some things happen this week. I'm excited about McKissick. That guy is like a roadrunner. He's flash, like lightning shooting out of there. So he might be our new little secret weapon. Hopefully he can come in there and do some damage on 3rd down and things like that with that speed of his. So that's the situation. So we're a little undermanned, but new guys coming in, and we'll see how they respond. As I mentioned, the challenges offensive, the Rams is pretty good right now, and Todd Gurley, who had a really good rookie season 2 seasons ago, he's looking kind of back in that top form, one of the best backs in the league. And so our defense is going to have to keep him in check, keep him from getting those explosive plays. We've given up a few big runs this year. We can't afford to give that up, especially to a running back like Gurley, because he will take advantage. So defense is going to be challenged. They're going to have to definitely make some big plays and stop this high-scoring, flying offense from doing their thing. But it also goes back to the offense, which we've all been talking about this whole season, the slow starts. We have got to break that pattern when we haven't done it yet. It's been 4 games, and every game that we've had so far in this first quarter of the season has started out the same. Very poor performance, lack of time of possession, lack of third down conversions happening in the first half. And they've just got to get it going on early. I've been saying for a while, and I know a lot of people have brought this up, that why not go a little up-tempo early on in the game? Why not mix it up? Just, not the whole game. You can't do the whole game, but maybe even the first possession while the defense is still fresh, while they haven't really expended their energy. Why not just mix it up? Throw a little hurry up in there. Just keep the defense off kilter, It's just we're not so predictable. But that's just me reaching for how can we change what's not working. So I hope they come up with some kind of plan, because man, if we start seeing 3 and out again to start the first quarter, it's going to be a long day. So the keys to the game for me are we've got to score early. I've been saying it all year, and we've got to score early. We got to get some touchdowns on the board in the first quarter, in the first half at least. So we got to score early. We got to win the time of possession battle in the first half, because we've been wearing our defense out too much because they've been on the field too long, which is why it results in the second half having these big explosive plays, because they're too worn out by the time that the second half comes around. So we've got to win the time of possession, get that ball going, which means converting on third downs. They haven't been very good in that in the first half, so we got to convert third downs, better than 50% of the time to start, from start to finish. We got to be better than 50%. And when we get into the red zone, my goodness, how many times when we have gotten down in the red zone, had to settle for field goals, we have got to punch it in and get into that end zone. Our defense is designed to dominate when we have a lead. Give them a 2-score lead, 10 points or more, and this defense is lights out. Teams, once they get into that sort of one-dimensional passing mode, that plays right into our strengths. So that's what we've got to do to stop these guys on defense. And again, on offense, just to add to that, I think from Wilson's standpoint, it's easy to blame the coordinator when things don't work out, but there's some things I think Wilson, after watching him in this last game, some things that Wilson has done is responsible for some of the things, plays not working out. The offensive line has actually been improving, whether you want to admit that or not. They've actually been playing better. They've been giving Wilson better protection, and the offensive line isn't the entire reason to blame for the Seahawks' slow start. There are other reasons, and watching Wilson carefully this past game, I think there are some times when Wilson, maybe just because he's just concerned about not turning the ball over, which is a good thing, but sometimes to a fault, because there are times when there's clearly a quick tempo, quick read pass, and there you got like a slant or a quick seam route, and he's looking, and he's supposed to hit that first read, and it's there, it's just not wide open, but he's not pulling the trigger and throwing the ball. So then he has to go through his other progressions, and then the line breaks down, and that resulted in some sacks that we ended up taking. So I think Wilson's just got to trust in his receivers, put the ball in there, fit it in. I've seen him, when he was on top of his game, he could fit that ball in these tight little windows, and he's just got to go back to doing that. Obviously, don't risk the interception deep in our end zone, but I think he's just got to trust in his receivers that they'll be there, especially when it comes to Jimmy Graham. I'm telling you, that guy, it can still play. I think we still have potential yet to be revealed in what he can do, and I think he's just got to give him a chance and just put that ball up there where he can get it. Graham did have a couple of plays were intended for him that turned out to be interceptions last week. One was bounced off his hands, was clearly his fault. He should have caught the ball with 2 hands. Another one was where the ball got thrown up towards the sideline. He went up for it, and he could have fought a little bit harder. The ball could have been high, thrown a little higher. He got picked off ahead of Jimmy Graham. That was a little bit of combination of Wilson's fault, and I think Jimmy Graham just not fighting hard enough to get that ball. But keep going to him, though, especially in the red zone. I'm telling you, this guy can just put it up there where no one else can get it, and he will come down with it. All right, so those are the keys, my keys to getting a win in this game. But there is one reason that no one's talking about why we win this game, and that is because I will not be going to that game in Los Angeles. I was supposed to be going to that game in LA, but because I tore my hamstring a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the doctor advised me not to travel. And so, yeah, I'm not going to that game. And that'll be the first time I haven't gone to a Seahawks game on the road against the Rams in 4 years. I've been to the last 3, 2 in St. Louis and 1 in LA last year, and they've lost all those games. Not to mention I've been to, 8 games since the Super Bowl 48, and they've lost every road game I've been to. So yeah, I'm staying grounded here. So this will be, hopefully, this fact I'm not going to this game, maybe that will be the factor that results in them getting that win on the road. The number one question I've been asked when I run into people this week is, how did I tear my hamstring? So this is what happened. It was after the 49er game. I was asked to, by my parents actually, to do a little dinner time entertainment to perform in my Seahawks suit and all the get up, makeup and everything at this fundraising event for the Pacific Asian Empowerment Program. So I did, and I was doing the song 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars, and got into the song, and halfway through I got a little carried away and decided to do this splits move. I didn't stretch or do anything, any warm-up or anything like that. So I went down, and I felt this tear in my leg, and I knew something was bad, and I tore it pretty bad. And, well, here's a video of how it happened right here. Check it out.
Everywhere I go, it's like break it down like
So that's how it happened. That's how I tore my hamstring right there. And it was pretty nasty because a couple days later, it got all discolored. I think the tear in the muscle, basically, there was some bleeding inside there. The leg just looked like one big nasty bruise, as you can see right here. It's pretty gross. It hurt a lot, you know. So the fortunate thing was I did go to Tennessee, watch that game, watch us lose against the Titans. I was limping around on crutches and stuff, but came back, saw my doctor. He said, don't travel, stay grounded for a while now, but get an MRI, get it checked out. And it was indeed torn. I thought I was gonna have to get surgery, but as it turned out, the specialist told me that I did not have to get surgery, that it would heal up on its own. And I could start actually this week doing physical therapy and just kind of working my way back to normal. So I'm off the crutches, I'm doing much better. Pain is much less significant, and so now it's just kind of getting back to normal and eventually hopefully returning back to doing things I like to do, like run around, play volleyball, dancing, maybe not doing the splits anymore, but just doing kind of normal things. So it should heal up and be back to normal pretty soon, so maybe in about a month. So one last little note, this is sort of a side personal thing. Last night was my 30th high school reunion. Class of 1987, Kent-Meridian High School, KM, what's up? Anyway, it was great. Saw a whole bunch of friends, classmates I hadn't seen in a long time since the 20-year. Some further than that, because some people who hadn't gone to any of the reunions were there. Pretty small turnout considering our group. You know, we have a class of about 300 something people, and we had, you know, less than 100 people last night, maybe like 60 people. But we had a great time. And for those who did come, it was a blast. And it was great to see all of you. For those of you who are watching, great to see all you guys there. I made a list of just the ones who I saw, made a note of last night. This is the reunion committee, the four of us, Jody Howard, Todd, and Diane Yadon. It's good to see you guys. Of course, Amy Reeder, Marcy Backus, Brian Terabosha, of course, my buddy Robin Kelly, Portman, Blast from the Past from Panther Lake Elementary, Han Nguyen, who I've seen since pretty much elementary school. She was there. Truth be told, I had a crush on her back in 6th grade, and I wanted to get a picture, trade pictures. You know, that's the kind of thing you do back then. And my plan was to put my little wallet-sized picture in a snowball. I was too shy to ask her, so I was going to put in a snowball and hit her in the face with a snowball, and that's how I was going to get my picture to her. I didn't actually execute that plan, but we did eventually swap pictures, and so anyway, that was cool. It was cool to see her after all these years from 6th grade. So, good seeing you, huh? Kim Arbayo, Jeff Leggett, Brian Strong, Debbie Griffith, who's got some amazing Seahawk tattoos, by the way. That's dedication right there. Gary Lewis, Lori Scobie, Pat Bakke, Jenny Puckett, Cheryl and Tony DeAugustine, 49er fans. Becca Ramos, Shalini Batio Kaduri, Darcy Lee, Chad Stewart, Wendy Manning, Julie Wallace, John Brown, Nikki Brown, Kevin Todd, Bobby Howell, Kelly Severson, Heidi Yost, Nathan Murphy, and Mark Schmidt. I know I missed a few people in there, but those were some people I definitely talked to last night. It was a blast. So, great seeing you guys. Here's to you, class of 87. We'll do it again, maybe hopefully not too long from now. So, that's it. That's all I got for you right now. So, tomorrow, Seahawks-Rams. Got to get it done. I'm nervous as heck. Of course, I always am, but this is a very particularly important game. Get back to over 500. Plus help my predictions stay true. I predicted 14-2. A little crazy, a little ambitious, but it could still happen. We could go undefeated the rest of the 2017 season, and my predictions would be right. Starts tomorrow. Let's get it. Seahawks, Rams. Let's go. Hawks.